नमस्कार बच्चों, आप सभी को एक और बार इस वर्चुअल क्लास में स्वागत है। और जैसे कि हमने इस वर्चुअल क्लास से पिछले एपिसोड्स में तीसरी यूनिट से दैट इज द डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ इनकम एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट, इस पे से हमने एडी, एएस और पिछले एपिसोड में हमने इक्विलिब्रियम आउटपुट इन शॉर्ट रन इस विषय पे हमने देखा। तो इसी को आगे बढ़ाते हुए so today in this class we will be looking into the topic the problem of excess demand and deficit demand in the economy, जिसे हम हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था में अधिमांग और न्यून मांग कहा जाता है। So while studying the excess demand and the deficit demand, as we have already studied about the equilibrium output in the economy in the short run, but we have seen that the equilibrium output can be determined by two approaches, where in the economy the aggregate demand is exactly equal to the aggregate supply. So, and one more approach we have seen that is the value of S is equal to I. That means what? The value of saving will be exactly equal to the value of the investment. So by these approaches, we have seen that how the economy reaches to the equilibrium output stage. That is the equilibrium output or equilibrium GDP. So now, we have seen that the equilibrium stage, but as I told you that there are two situations. Apart from the equilibrium situation, we have other two situations where we can say that the value of AD is more than AS and the value of AD is less than AS. That means what? The aggregate demand. The situation comes where the aggregate demand is more than the aggregate supply. So this situation brings up a economical problem in the economy that is being called as what? Excess demand. That means what? The planned demand is more than the planned supply. That means what? The aggregate demand is more than the aggregate supply. That the value is AD is more than AS. So this situation is known as excess demand, जिसे हम अधिमांग कहते हैं। एक अर्थव्यवस्था में जब एक छोटी सी समय सीमा पर हम अर्थव्यवस्था की जब संतुलन की स्थिति को ज्ञात करना चाहते हैं, इस समय समग्र मांग जो होती है वो समग्र पूर्ति के बराबर होनी चाहिए। तो जब समग्र मांग और समग्र पूर्ति ये दोनों बराबर होती है, तब हम ये कह सकते हैं कि हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था संतुलित स्थिति पर है। और दूसरी अवस्था होती है जहां पे समग्र मांग समग्र पूर्ति के आगे कम हो जाता है। That means what? The AD's value is less than AS. The aggregate demand which have been made in the economy during a particular period of time is less than the aggregate supply. And the meaning of aggregate supply and the aggregate demand we have already studied in detail in the previous classes. तो अब हम ये जानेंगे कि अधिमांग क्या होती है और न्यून मांग क्या होती है। तो बच्चों, इस चैप्टर को मैं आगे बढ़ाने से पहले मैं चाहूंगा कि आप इसे ध्यान से सुनें, और इस चैप्टर को हम 2 एपिसोड में पढ़ेंगे। हम in this episode we will be studying the chapter of problem of excess demand and the deficit demand. So as we have to learn more in this chapter, so we will be studying this chapter in 2 episodes. So today we will be taking up the problem of excess demand. आज हम अधिमांग की जो समस्या है इसके बारे में हम पढ़ेंगे। तो बच्चों, अधिमांग की समस्या को पढ़ने से पहले we have to understand a basic concept, that is the full employment equilibrium. What do you mean by fuller employment equilibrium? It refers to the situation where the value of AD is equal to the AS with the fuller utilization of resources. We can say that at the situation of full employment, here the value of DL will be equal to the value of SL. That means what? The demand for the labor in the economy will exactly equal to the supply of labor in the economy. So this situation brings up a condition of fuller employment. So here we can understand that the resources are being used in a fuller manner and they are being utilized in an optimum way. So, but one more thing we have to keep in mind, that the fuller employment equilibrium will not show the situation where we can say that in an economy, in fuller employment equilibrium stage, all the people, all those who are willing to work, they are getting work in the existing rate. So here there are some situation comes in the economy where some people are still unemployed. So who are they? how these people become unemployed. That can be said to be as voluntary unemployment. That means what? At this situation in the equilibrium stage, where those people who are not willing to work in the existing rate, though the work is available for them. Now, come to the underemployment equilibrium. So when, as I told you, we were studying about the fuller employment equilibrium and the underemployment equilibrium. So here in underemployment equilibrium, we can say that it refers to the situation where the value of AD will be equal to AS, but without fuller utilization of resources. So here we can say that though the economy is in the equilibrium stage, but the resources which are being utilized in the economy for the production of goods and services, they are not being fully utilized. So by this, we have to study the problem of full employment and the underemployment. So in full employment, we can say that the resources which are being utilized, they are being fully and utilized in an optimized manner. But in underemployment, this situation, the resources which are being available in the economy for the production of goods and services, they are being underutilized. Now, we will look at the types of unemployment. So in unemployment, first we will talk about the voluntary unemployment. So voluntary unemployment is a situation where some people are not at all willing to work, or some people are willing to work, but they are not willing to work at the existing rate. So, and apart from that, we have one more thing, that is the involuntary employment. Now we will see the involuntary unemployment. So here in this situation where the people are willing to work, but they are not getting the job. That means what? The people are ready to work in the existing rate, but the job is not available for them. So this arises because in the economy, planned output is lower than the potential output. So we can say that here at the situation, the people are ready to work, the people willing to work, but they are not getting the enough job opportunity. In the involuntary unemployment, it can be divided into two types, that is structural unemployment and the frictional unemployment. So when we are talking about the structural unemployment, here we can see that the people who are engaged in their work, suddenly or in the due course of time, they become unemployed due to the structural change in the economy. Frictional unemployment, it is the unemployment associated with the changing of job in dynamic economy. It rises due to the immobility of labor, shortage of raw material, etc. This is a temporary unemployment. Now we'll see the excess demand. So what do you mean by excess demand? अधि मांग क्या होती है? अधि मांग वह स्थिति है जब किसी अर्थव्यवस्था में हमारी जो समग्र मांग समग्र पूर्ति से अधिक होता है. That means the value of AD will be greater than the AS. We can say that it is a situation where the aggregate demand is greater than the aggregate supply, with corresponding to the full employment in an economy. So here we can say that the planned demand in an economy, in the short run economy, is greater than the planned supply. So at this situation, it is being studied as a problem of excess demand in the economy, and so here in this excess demand, a gap is being created in the actual aggregate demand, that is the AD and the existing AD, where we can see that the value of AD becomes greater than the value of AS. So the gap which has been created in the two ADs, that is the existing and the actual AD, that gap is being called as inflationary gap. That situation is called inflation situation. So inflation, इसे हम कहते हैं, इस अंतराल को हम स्फीतिक अंतराल कहते हैं. तो बच्चों, look at the diagram. With the help of this diagram, we can locate the inflationary gap where the AD, we can see both the AD curves. Look at the diagram. In this diagram, we can see the x-axis and the y-axis. In the x-axis, we have the value of income that is output GDP, and in y-axis we have the value of AD, aggregate demand. So here you can see three curves which have been drawn in the diagram. First curve, that is the y starts from 0, denoted as expenditure, and after that you can see the AD curve, that is the value of C plus I. It starts from not from 0, it starts from positive value, where again that is being denoted as ADF. And after that we can see a curve, that is ADE curve, above than the ADF curve. So the gap which has been created, that is the gap between the ADF and ADE, is the gap called inflationary gap, जिसे हम स्फीतिक अंतराल भी कहते हैं. तो बच्चों, स्फीतिक अंतराल की मान कैसे निकाला जाता है? How we can calculate the value of inflationary gap from this diagram? So we can calculate the value of inflationary gap in this diagram by subtracting the value of ADE from the ADF value. So by this we can get the value of excess demand. After looking into the concept of excess demand and the inflationary gap, that is the concept of inflation, now we have to discuss what is the reason, what are the causes behind the excess demand. So we need to understand why the problem of excess demand arises in the economy. The first thing is what? Due to the supply of money in the economy. That means what? Due to the more supply of money in the economy, when we have a deficit financing. When there is a deficit financing, the supply of money will be increased, will be induced by the government and the banks to increase the purchase power of the people. So when the money supply increases in the economy, at that time what happens? People intend to demand more. When they demand more, and in front of the demand, at that time the demand increases in a greater level as compared with the AS, that is the aggregate supply. So due to the increase in the money supply in the economy, we can say that the situation of inflation creates. The second point is due to increase in the MPC. So what is MPC? That is the marginal propensity to consume. When the money supply increases in the economy, that means what? The purchasing power of the people, it gets increases. That means what? People tend to कंज्यूम मोर. इस अवस्था में लोग अधिक मात्रा में अपनी जो उपभोग व्यय है उसे बढ़ाना शुरू कर देते हैं. तो हम ये देखते हैं कि इस अर्थव्यवस्था में हमारी जो उपभोग व्यय है, जो वैल्यू ऑफ C&I, इट बिकम्स ग्रेटर, ज्यादा होने लग जाती है. When it increases, when the consumption expenditure increases in the economy, that tend to increase the value of MPC. So due to the increase in the value of MPC, what happens? The aggregate demand will also get increased, because I told you that in equilibrium stage the aggregate supply should be equal to the aggregate demand, but due to the increase in the consumption value in the economy, that is increase in the MPC value, AD get increases. So here also the situation again comes where AD is greater than AS, and this creates a gap, that is we call inflation gap, जिसे हम स्फीतिक अंतराल कहते हैं. Next, move to the third one, where we can say that along with the consumption expenditure, we could see the increase in the investment expenditure. So when the investment expenditure along with the consumption expenditure increases, at that time, along with the household sector, the producer sector also demand more from the economy. So when they demand more, automatically the value of AD get increases. तो बच्चे हम कह सकते हैं कि उपभोग व्यय के साथ साथ हमारी जो निवेश है, निवेश के मांग में भी वृद्धि होने के कारण अधिमांग की जो मान है वह बढ़ जाती है, जिससे कारण ये असंतुलित स्थिति उत्पन्न हो जाता है, जहां पे समग्र मांग की जो मान है वो समग्र पूर्ति के आगे अधिक होता है. एंड वन मोर रीजन वी कैन से व्हाई द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एक्सेस डिमांड arises in the economy, that is the cut in the tax rate. So due to the cut in the tax rate, whenever the taxes are being implied on the people, so at that time what happening, the income, some part of the income is being paid as a part of tax to the government. So whenever the government cuts the tax rate, what happens? The people gets more disposable money in their hand. तो लोगों के पास जब वो अपने आय पर लगने वाली कर, जिसे आयकर भी कहा जाता है, और बाकी जो उत्पादक क्षेत्र में जो जितने भी उत्पादन के जरिए में जीएसटी के रूप में लगने वाली कर है, जब इन करों की दर कम हो जाती है, कम होने के कारण दी money availability in the hands of household sector and the producer sector get increases. That means what? The disposable money in the hands of the people get increases. So when they have more money in their hand, they tend to demand more. When they demand more, the ED gets increases. At that time also, the equilibrium situation gets disturbed, where we can say that ED is more than AS. And at last we can see that one more reason for the increase in the excess demand, where the import and export of an economy get changes. So what kind of change? When we have more export and less import, this also brings a situation of excess demand situation, where we can say that due to the increase in the rate of export, the economy gets more foreign exchanges in the economy. So when we get more foreign exchanges, when we get more foreign money, at that time also the AD get increases. So when the export increases, simultaneously we can see that the rate of import, that means the level of import, decreased. So we can say that due to the increase in the export and decrease in the import value, the situation of excess demand arises in the economy. And now we will move ahead, we will see what are the consequences. So when the situation of excess demand, तो बच्चों अगर स्फीतिक स्थिति हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था में उत्पन्न होती है, तो हमें ये जानना होगा इसके फलस्वरूप कि हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था में किस प्रकार की परिवर्तन या बदलाव लाती है. So we have to look at the effects of excess demand in the economy. Now we'll see the consequences. तो सबसे पहले जब स्फीतिक स्थिति आती है, that means when we have the situation of excess demand, the first and foremost problem which arises in the economy is what? That is the rise in the price, rise in the price level. So due to the more demand, and in front of the more demand, the aggregate supply falls short. जब हमारी समग्र पूर्ति समग्र मांग के आगे कम पड़ जाती है, कम हो जाती है, इस समय जितने भी वस्तुएं एवं सेवाएं उपलब्ध है हमारे अर्थव्यवस्था में, उनकी जो कीमतें हैं उसमें वृद्धि हो जाती है. दिस ब्रिंग्स द राइज इन द प्राइस लेवल, because of the situation, the people who are intended to buy the goods and services, they are more in number, but the resources or the goods and services which are available in the market, they are less. So we can say that the very important consequence of excess demand is what? That is the rise in the price. Now, second thing is what? Due to the increase in the aggregate demand, when the people start demanding more and more in the economy, due to this increase in the aggregate demand, a pressure is being created to increase the supply. So supply is mounting upward to meet the existing aggregate demand. So as the AD's value gets increases, it gives the pressure on the aggregate supply in the economy. When we have a larger value of aggregate demand, it raises the price level. When it raises the price level, it automatically increases the factor cost. What do you mean by factor cost? Factor costs are those costs which are incurred on the factors of production involved in the production of goods and services. That means land, labor, capital and the entrepreneur. So these all the four factors which are being involved in the production process, their cost also get increases during the situation of inflation. So at that time, as the factor cost increases, due to the increase in the factor cost, the cost of production also get increases. You can say that as the factor cost increases, the price level of the commodity which are available in the market will also get increases. So whenever you find in the market, whenever we go into the market, we can say we will find a situation where the prices of the commodity is being increasing day by day. It is only because of the increase in the production cost. So how the production cost increase? Due to the increase in the factor cost value. So when the factor cost value increase, the total production cost got increased. Now, at last, we see that due to the situation of excess demand, there is a wage price spiral cycle creates in the economy, where we can see that the wages catches the prices and the prices then catches the wages. So this spiral activity between the wages and the prices gets continuous process. When these two concepts try to catch each other, again it increases the price. These are the consequences which is being created by the excess demand. Now we have to look how the situation of excess demand can be corrected. So what are the remedies are there? What are the steps are being taken to correct the situation of excess demand to make the economy in an equilibrium stage? Situation of excess demand, स्फीतिक की जो स्थिति है, इसे सुधारने के लिए सरकार और आरबीआई, हमारे देश में ये दो ऐसे संस्थाएं हैं जो अर्थव्यवस्था में बदलाव लाती है। तो अर्थव्यवस्था में स्फीतिक की स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए सरकार और आरबीआई, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, जिसे हम हमारे देश की अपेक्स बैंक कहते हैं, इन दोनों के जरिए ही न्यून मांग और अधिमांग इन स्थितियों को ठीक की जाती है। तो बच्चों, when we need to correct the situation of excess demand and the deficit demand, these both the organization, that is our government and the RBI, takes an active part for stabilizing the economy. So first thing is what? We need to see what are the steps have been taken by the government, steps taken by the RBI. So to correct the situation of inflation in the economy, the measures which are being taken by the government is being called as fiscal policy. तो बच्चों, स्फीति की स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए सरकार द्वारा जितने भी कदम उठाई जाती है, इसे हम कहते हैं राजकोषीय नीति। इस राजकोषीय नीति से हम ये कह सकते हैं कि सरकार ऐसे कौन कौन से कदम उठाते हैं जिनके जरिए से हम स्फीति की स्थिति को ठीक कर सकते हैं और हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था एक संतुलित स्थिति पर आ जाए। एंड वन मोर थिंग, that is, along with the government, RBI also involved in the process to correct the excess demand in the economy. The measures which are being taken by the RBI is being called as monetary policy. तो बच्चों, हमारी जो अपेक्स बैंक है RBI, इनके द्वारा जितने भी कदम उठाई जाती हैं स्फीति की स्थिति को सुधारने के लिए, इसे कहते हैं हम मौद्रिक नीतियां। So here you got a two concept, that is the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. So in the exam point of view, you listen it carefully, because we have already studied about the monetary policy in the functions of Central Bank of India. So where the same thing we have to look here, what are the functions which we have seen in the functions of Central Bank, the same functions are being regulated here to correct the situation of excess demand. First we will look at the fiscal policy, जिसे हम राजकोषीय नीति कहते हैं। इसके अंतर्गत हम देखेंगे कि सबसे पहले सरकार अपनी जो उपभोग है उसे कम कर देता है। That means what? The government reduces the government expenditure. The government involved in the consumption expenditure. So all the consumption expenditure incurred by the government during this period, the government reduces the consumption expenditure. That means what? The government involves in the construction of road, schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure facility in the economy. So all these activities which are being undertaken by the government, they are reduced, because already in the economy the AD is more than AS. So from government's part, the government tries to reduce its expenditure. By this way, the level of AD can be lowered. When it lowered, we can bring the economy in a equilibrium stage. Second one, that is the tax rate. So when we are talking about the tax rate, it may be a direct tax or indirect tax. In the both the type of taxes, the tax rates are decided by the government. The government decides the rate of tax which is to be paid by the consumer in an economy. So whenever we have a situation of excess demand, so what will happen here? Can you guess? What will happen to the tax rate? So the AD, the larger AD denotes that already we have a more demand in the economy as compared with the supply. When you have more demand, it shows that the people are demanding more, the people are consuming more. The consumption expenditure is more in the economy. So when we have more consumption expenditure, that consumption expenditure should be lowered. So how it could be lowered? We can't request the people to stop using the commodities or stop purchasing the commodities. The only way is what? We have to decrease the disposable money in their hand. So how we can increase the disposable money in their hand? By increasing the tax rate. So by this way, the government tries to reduce the aggregate demand by reducing the disposable income in the people's hand. Third, public borrowings. At this situation, the public borrowings will be increased in the government because already the AD is more than AS. And at last, that is the borrowing from RBI. You can see that the government used to borrow money from RBI. In the situation of excess demand, the government stops borrowing the money from RBI because we know that already the economy is suffering from excess demand situation. So to correct the situation, as the government has already reduced its consumption expenditure, the borrowing from the RBI is being lowered. Now we will look at the steps taken by the RBI that is being called as monetary policy. इसे हम मौद्रिक नीति कहते हैं. Okay, in that we have seen 2-rate policy and 2-ratio policy. And after that we have seen the open market operations, marginal requirement and moral suasion. So look at the first one where we have studied about the 2-rate policy. That is the rate of interest which is being given by the RBI as a loan to the commercial bank. There are bank rate and the repo rate. In the previous episode I have told about the repo rate, how the repo rate have been decreased. So here we can see that the RBI controls the situation of excess demand by 2 rates, that is the bank rate and the repo rate. So bank rate is the rate of interest offered on the loans to the commercial banks without getting any kind of security. So the commercial bank used to get loan from the RBI to induce the money in the economy by the way of loans to the people. And repo rate, again the repo rate is also the same loan rate of interest offered on the loans to the commercial banks by the RBI with security. By these 2 rate of interest, the RBI used to give loans to the commercial banks. When the commercial bank gets the loan, again these money will be distributed to the people in the way of loan. So when these loans are being distributed to the people in a lower interest rate, people start getting more loans, more money. It will increase their purchasing power and again it will increase the demand, that is the aggregate demand. So you can guess what will happen to the bank rates at this situation. When we have the situation of excess demand, what is the motive of the RBI? The RBI's motive is to lower the level of demand. The aggregate level should be lowered. So how it could be lowered? We can lower the aggregate demand value only by reducing the money circulation in the economy. So to lower the money circulation, the commercial banks will get loans from RBI with a higher rate, higher bank rate and higher repo rate. When the repo rate and bank rates are higher, the commercial banks will borrow less loan. When they borrow less loan, the commercial banks will supply less money in the economy. By this way, RBI tries to control the money circulation in the economy. One more thing, that is 2-ratio policy. That is CRR and SLR. What is CRR? That is cash reserve ratio, and SLR statutory liquidity ratio. So these ratios are being what? They are the securities, they are the cash ratios which are being kept by the commercial banks with the RBI so that the money can be lended to the people in the way of loan in a more quantity. So when these ratios are being increased, when the commercial bank has to keep more ratio of their cash and the liquidity, statutory liquidity with the RBI, at that time the commercial banks gives less amount of loan to the people. So the money circulation can be controlled with the help of the bank rate, repo rate, and the CRR and the SLR. By controlling these ratios, the money circulation can be controlled in the economy, which is being distributed to the commercial banks. And then open market operation. What do you mean open market operation? We know that the RBI used to regulate the economy through commercial banks, but here in open market operation, RBI directly involved in the market operation. So in open market operation, in order to contract the credit, the RBI sells government securities to the commercial banks and to their customers. So this will reduce the money in circulation and controls the excess demand. Next we have margin requirement. So margin requirement is a down payment made by the people to the banks while getting the loans. So at this time, whenever the situation of excess demand is available in the economy, to control the money circulation in the economy, the commercial banks are being directed by the RBI to increase the margin requirements. At last, in the moral suasion, here the RBI insists the commercial banks to follow their guidelines while providing the loans to the people in a selective manner, so that the situation of excess demand can be controlled. So students, that's all for today. We have seen about the full employment, that is the problem of employment and unemployment. Then after that, we have seen that how the excess demand exists in the economy, arises in the economy, what are the reasons, what are the consequences of excess demand, and at last we have seen that how the situation of excess demand can be corrected. So students, I hope you understood the class. Based on the today's learning, I wish to give some homework which you can try it yourself at home. That's all for today. We will be there in the next episode with the topic deficit demand. Until then, it's bye from Santin. Namaste.